Well, since we are talking about that, how do you guys at Binance, how do you make it work around the world? Because there are very different cultures, and I mean, you're in 180 countries, you told me, and 280 million users. Yeah. Okay. Do you have a goal? Would you like to reach a goal? And how do you work to make it happen across different cultures, different countries?
So that's a great question. So when I first joined the company and I spoke to our founders, I was like, what's the vision? Like, what's the overall goal? And there was obviously a lot of discussion we had, but the one North Star that stuck out to me that they shared was that we want to hit 1 billion users.
1 billion users.
1 billion users. And I was like, please say that's as an industry, not as a brand, because I'm like doing the maths in my head and how much that work that's going to take. But no, really that's about the industry hitting 1 billion users. And the rationale behind that is we're still just passing early adoption into early maturation at the moment. Mm-hmm. Like we're as an industry at the same place that the internet was in 1990, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And, that was when there was still skepticism about the internet. And you and I both know today, I certainly couldn't survive without the internet and the Google. Like I couldn't live my life. Well, OpenAI now, but, or ChatGPT. But, what was fascinating to me is they wanted to hit that, 1 billion users because that meant we were mainstream. And in order to get to that point of mainstream, the world of cryptocurrency isn't just about trading. It goes far beyond that, and I think one thing that I've learned, and I think the founders of Binance have done so well over the last 8 years, is they focused on how less about talking about the technology, but more about talking around the utility and the benefits to the end user. So whether you're a trader who wants to trade digital assets, whether you're what we term a holder, and a holder is someone just buys a little bit of Bitcoin every week or a little bit of an altcoin every week and sits in it. I met someone last night that's been buying Bitcoin $10 a week for 8 years. That's gonna, they're very happy, let's just say at the moment.
I guess so.
Or if you're someone, and that's why I love the Latin American market and specifically the Brazilian market, in how it's part of the everyday fabric of society where people are using it for payments. We just did an integration with Pix, which I learned a lot about during our last, my last visit here last year. And, I was blown away about the penetration of Pix and how it's been adopted across Brazil. And we've been lucky enough now to have an integration with a product we have called Binance Pay.
I'd say that Brazilians don't remember how to live without Pix anymore.
I know, but what's extraordinary? That's how we are about the internet. And that's our goal for how we would like it to be when it comes to crypto and digital assets. And I think that's what's really exciting about this.
How much of Web3 must a person know in order to use Binance's services or getting into this cryptocurrency culture?
So let me ask you a question. How much do you know about how Visa and MasterCard transactions work at the back end?
I don't know anything.
So that's what I'm going to say to you about Web3. Obviously it's good to have a base level understanding of it, but, it's not about understanding the technical constructs behind the technology. It's about understanding how it's relevant for you. So, one thing that I think Binance has done very well over the last 8 years is try and make it as simple as possible for people to access our platform and our app. And that's, we're continuously obsessive about how do we make the user experience like frictionless and remove the barriers to entry, and that starts with education and awareness about why people should be here. So we have lots of ways in which users or potential users can access education. We have Binance Academy, which is a masterclass, equivalent to masterclass. We had 43 million people participate on that last year alone. I think there was 500,000 in Brazil alone last week. So it shows that the appetite is there. But at the same time, I'm leaving this discussion with you to go straight back to a party, which essentially is, we like to make finance fun. So it's a party where we're educating on crypto and how you can start, but also you can have a beer and have a, hot dog and, have fun with some of the community. So, we try to meet people where they are at different stages, of their journey.
What do you think? What's your opinion? I mean, in your opinion, why is Brazil so into cryptocurrency. I mean, this, you told me that lots of Brazilian people are using cryptocurrency. Yeah. And why here?
Look,
do you have any idea?
Look, you've got 3 LATAM markets in the top 20. You have Argentina. You have...
I understand Argentina. Yeah. They are having heavy financial
You have Mexico.
issues.
And you've got Brazil at number 10, which is, pretty extraordinary when you think about it. And I think, we had 34% growth year on year in new registered users. It outpaced most of our markets around the world. And the reason that's happening, to answer your question, is, there's a few factors behind that. One, I think you've got a very young and dynamic population here that is constantly looking at self-improvement and financial literacy. We see that across the board. It's not just in crypto. Secondly, you've got more phones than people.
Yeah.
And, the main point of access for digital assets is through your phone. So, that's one of the, other big drivers of this. Thirdly, I think you've got a clear regulation now. One thing that we know in order to continue to grow this sector, because it's a barrier for those people who've not entered in, is, about how the user regulation and user protections are set up. And you have a clear regulatory framework being developed here, which is way ahead of the curve. I'm Irish and we don't have one yet. And that's why we're only at 4.8% penetration in Ireland, as much as I'm upset by that. You're way ahead of the US. The US is only at 6% penetration when it comes to retail, everyday man adoption. So I think that's what's so exciting for Brazil is not only do you have a community and a population that's embracing this, you have all of the different stakeholders that are going to be important to the future growth of this, who are on board and realize that, first of all, this is something that's here to stay. Second of all, it's not just about trading. It's about the full suite of different use cases. So whether that be the trader or, as I said, the entrepreneur that's using Binance Pay or payment solutions to be able to transfer money quickly. Like, I didn't realize this. My sister-in-law is Brazilian. She's like, it took me 15 days to transfer money from Dublin to a bank account, in Rio. She's like, that's not realistic. But that's not realistic in the days, in the society we live in at the moment. Yeah. So we need to be able to move quickly and understand what we're paying for and when it will arrive and how quickly. And I think that's where the blockchain and Web3 solves a lot of those everyday issues as we live in this kind of increasingly globalized world.
I see. How many currencies are there being traded in Binance? A lot.
Oof! I wish I should know this. No, I should know this, but I think it's about 30,000.
No,
30,000. 3,000?
Yeah, let me check.
No, I think it's so. We have 3,000 cryptocurrencies.